We are back with another episode, and today we have Mr. Tommy Gantt on the show. Tommy, welcome, man.
Hey, glad to be here, man. Appreciate you having me.
So, Tommy is an assistant coach, NC State University wrestling, and former wrestler, ACC champion, and tell us a little bit about your amateur wrestling career before you transitioned into MMA.
I won the ACCs. That was a long time ago, man. Long time ago. Too long to remember. But when I stopped wrestling, I was like fifth or sixth on the Olympic ladder, something like that, man. I really don't remember. It's kind of distant memory now because you always want to be the number one guy. So never really attained that goal. So I guess now I'm fighting and kind of trying to chase that now. You know what I mean? Trying to chase those titles, man. Get to the big leagues.
And at 31, you are fast tracking your way up. I was looking through your amateur career, fighting. I mean, some of your first fights, you're fighting the top guys around. You fought Mr. Reese, who can't remember his name. He was 8-0, and I believe it was
Cody.
Yeah, the commentator said it was your first fight, but it looked on the timeline like it was about your third or fourth.
Yeah, I think that was 3 or 4, man. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and man, you look sharp there in that fight. You look pro ready in that fight, and that was early. Well, at least you didn't have a long amateur career.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen what you've done since then, and like you're top notch striking, wrestling, and I feel like you're. I mean, at 1-0, I feel like you're ready for UFC. You just got to get the fights, get the numbers up. But I feel like you're ready, man.
I think so. I think so too, man. One of my good friends, he kind of manages me right now. I won't say his name because he's kind of under the radar. He preferred to be that way, but he kind of just started finding me fights, man, and things just kind of took off. The first one was more of a discovery type thing, like, man, do I want to do this? How do I feel about getting punched in the face and slammed, choked, all that good stuff? Then I got in there, I was like, oh man, it's fun. Kind of enjoyed it a little bit more than wrestling, so I was like, yeah, let's roll with it. Just started booking them, man, and now we are where we are, man. Took that pro fight in April, I think. One got canceled a couple of weeks ago, so hopefully we can stick it out and make it the next weekend.
We got you booked 3 times over the next less than 2 months. So we got you fighting next Saturday, and then July 20th and August 3rd. So 3 fights back to back to back. A lot of people don't do that. I mean, when you're trying to make it somewhere quick. I mean, you're 31 right now. You don't have time to fight 2 or 3 times a year. You got to get them in.
Yeah, not a lot of time to waste, man. I guess a good thing and a bad thing. But.
Yeah, and I mean, if you can find somebody to fight you, take it. Because from what I understand, it's hard to get people to take that fight. And I had a lot of guys say no when I was trying to match these fights up. A lot of people said no. So yeah, if you have an opportunity, take it. And I mean, it's been easy working with you. I mean, you're just ready for whoever. Like whoever says yes, let's run it. I mean, you feel like you're ready for UFC. Like if you can't beat these guys, what are we doing?
So, that's what I tell my guy all the time, man. He's like, "Oh, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about that?" I'm like, "Dude, it's like just take my signature and just stamp it on the contract. Anytime you ask me, just stamp it. Whoever it is, 85, 70, 55, whatever it is." I almost took a fight at 205, but he was like, "Nah, man, it's too big." So I was like, "Yeah, you got to trust your coach and kind of get out of your own way sometimes." So.
Yeah, I mean, even fighting at walking weight, going up to 205, you're probably have to gain a little bit to get up to at least 186.
Like 177, 76, 75. Kind of just fluctuates.
Yeah,
and I'm still out there, so I'm wrestling every day. So kind of weights up and down all the time.
Eat dinner, chug a bunch of water, borrow some cell phones, put them in the pocket, get on the scale.
Yeah, get on the scale. Just you gotta be 186 to wrestle. I mean, to fight 285, right? I mean, to fight 205. Yeah, we'll make it work. Yeah. Put a 6-pack in your pocket. Figure it out.
We had a guy put a 24-pack of brisk iced tea in all of his pockets to get up to heavyweight one time.
Really?
Heavyweight boxing. He showed up like 192 pounds and needed to be at least 200 to fight heavyweight boxing. Dude,
so he had to be 8 pounds.
8 pounds, man. He had like a hoodie on and then those pockets full, another hoodie, filled all that up, put on a big jacket, and filled it up, and he had
that's
boots.
funny.
Stepped on the scale, and we had so many fights. The commissioner wasn't even like looking; he was just looking
wasn't paying
at the
attention.
scale. Yeah, he was, all right, next step on there, and he's like, saw the weight. He's like, "What's your name?" Wrote it down, moved on. So
yeah, that's funny. Did he win?
no.
Oh, really? I respect the heart, though.
Yeah.
I respect the heart.
Yeah,
I respect that, man.
he made weight. So
Yeah,
yeah, I got a lot of stories like that.
yeah, that's funny. Man, you gotta respect anybody that gets in the ring or cage, man. Take some balls, man. That's for sure. So
Yeah, you got to love it, man. I mean, it's got to be something you want to do. I mean, if somebody doesn't want to do this, I mean, it's probably not a good idea to be doing it. You got to love it. You got to want it. You don't have that drive. I mean, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, it's kind of life and death in there too, man. So you can't be taking them types of risks if you ain't with it. So
yeah, it can definitely be a dangerous thing. And yeah, I mean, especially fighting you, man. Shoot, I'm excited, man. I mean, I'm excited. I've been watching some of your films. So, man, so we were talking earlier. Yeah, so you're boxing. I don't know how long you've been training for stand up now.
about a year and a half, 2 years, something like that, man. So not a long time, but my coach over at Jawbreaker, Remy Fullwood, dude's a man. He kind of made it fun. It almost reminded me of wrestling a little bit when I first started. And funny story about that. When I first started wrestling, man, I thought it was WWE. So I walk into a gym, I see a flat mat, I'm just distraught. 12 years old, just distraught. I mean, hurt, man. And then a couple of days after that, my mom told me that WWE wasn't real. So man, I was just going through it, and I ended up sticking with it, man. And there we were, 20 something odd, 17 odd years later. But yeah, he just kind of brought it back to the basics, man. We worked on some footwork when we first got in there. He didn't let us spar for like, me and actually a good friend of mine, Mike Machiavello, he'd probably be fighting too. You might see him on the regional scene here in a couple months or whatnot. But starting at ground zero, he didn't let us spar for like 6 months. And I'm like, dude, I want to fight, man. I come from wrestling. That's what we do all the time. College time, basically fighting each other anyway. And then when I got in there, man, I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. It's something I can do. And that first fight, it was pretty much straight boxing. That's all it was. I worked on returning, not even checking a kick. My coach was working on, I guess, just putting weight on my front foot and answering it with punches. And that was all I did that first fight.
But you look like you're picking up on it like a sponge, man. I mean, from your first fight to now, you can see the big jump. But I mean, I guess from day one in the gym to that first fight as well. I was talking to your manager about it. I told him, I was like, I think he's ready for he could jump in USA. Well, you're pro now, but you can't. But if you hadn't gone pro, I could see you jumping in USA boxing, making a run at the U.S. Olympic team, man. Like, his hands are that good. Like, once you learn to put the combinations together a little better, like, I mean, the hand speed from point A to point B, it's good. And the combos will come. I mean, once you get more comfortable with it, you're less than 2 years into the striking. I mean, just like in wrestling, I mean, your first couple years in that probably weren't putting it together.
You're getting killed. Yeah, you're getting killed.
Yeah, the transition, you can do this, but like the flow between the two is just not there. But I'm seeing that in your stand up now, and like watching one of your fights when you fought Reese and he was landing those leg kicks. Early in the fight, he was landing leg kicks. You put a stop to that. But
that was a nice one. That was a nice one. I'll give him that much. It didn't hurt too bad, but it was just kind of caught my foot when it was light, kind of when I was bouncing in and out.
Yeah, and he knew what he was doing. He was 8-0. He knew what he was doing. Definitely one of the top guys around. And I don't think he's fought since then. I think he kind of broke him. But
no, I think he's we actually got kind of cool after that fight, but I think he's waiting on a pro fight.
Okay.
So yeah, he's about to.
He's good, man. He's good.
He is, man. He is. He's definitely gonna make some noise, man. Definitely make some noise.
Yeah. So you got the fight. I know you got at least these 3 fights coming up in the next month and a half.
Couple weeks.
The next 6 weeks you got 3 fights. So what's next, man? What do you have? I mean, what's next for Tommy Gantt?
After these fights?
Yep.
Go win that UFC belt, man. I know it sounds cliche, everybody says it and whatnot, but I truly believe that, and I truly think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, know it's gonna happen. And I think it's gonna happen. I mean, I think sometimes, man, I get caught because wrestling kind of it's more of a humble sport. I think some of the fighters are a little more arrogant and whatnot. So when I speak, it's with respect and with confidence. You know what I mean? Because in
Yeah.
wrestling, we don't usually talk like that. Like those dudes get yappy and like, all right, I mean, I just don't get into that. But I think, what was I about to say? I just lost my train of thought. But I forget what I was saying, man. But basically, I'm gonna win that title. With all due
Yeah.
respect to everybody that's in the sport, I'm gonna win that title.
I feel like you're coming into MMA. Probably got a chip on your shoulder. You never really took that gold you wanted. High school runner up.
Yep.
I mean, you're in a big state. Chicago. Or coming. It's Illinois. Some really good competition there. So you never got that gold in high school. You go to college and All American, but you didn't get that gold in college. But now coming into MMA, I feel like I mean, you got the wrestling pedigree, but also you got the striking, the jiu-jitsu. So I mean, you got it all. So I mean, it's not just wrestling. It's not just wrestling now. And I've seen a lot of guys at the UFC level that were not national champions, probably weren't high school state champions, but went up, won UFC gold, beating the guys that were Olympic champions in wrestling. So I'm excited for the future. The next, see what you're going to do here the next 4 or 5 years, where you're going to be at. I believe in you, man. I really do.
I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah,
I appreciate it, man.
So I believe that's all I got, man. I know I've forgot. I'm sure I've forgotten something, left something out, and we're going to talk again. But hey, anything you want to add to it?
No, nothing, man. I just appreciate the opportunity, man. Definitely every little bit along the way helps, man, because definitely couldn't do it without guys like you, man. Good promoters that put on good shows and good things.
Excited, man, and help you build a little fan base here around West Virginia, Kentucky, some a little bit of Pennsylvania, moving up into the UFC. People in this part of the country now, hey, I know that guy, saw him fight in person, so build a little bit of a fan base here, and looking forward to it. Well, hey, everybody watching, thanks for sticking with us. Next Saturday night, June 29th. Tommy Gantt's going to be in the cage, New Line Cage Fighting 25. You can get tickets at newlinecagefighting.com, and the pay-per-view is going to be on YouTube. So check it out.